Accepting your calling, your purpose, your reasoning is so scary. Because here's what we do as human beings. Here's what we do as people, as individuals. As our phone is ringing, we let it ring because we're pondering the thoughts of answering it. But as we're answering it, we don't understand what's on the other side of this call. Accepting the call is not just picking up the phone and answer it. Absolutely not. It goes deeper than that. It is deeper than that. A lot of times we don't understand why we're doing things, and we want the answer or to start, in order to begin, in order to create something that hasn't been there. Back in August of 2020, I had to accept the calling that I wanted to do something different. The calling that I was accepting, I had no clue of the dynamics behind it. But that is okay because I wanted more for myself and I had to figure out how to do that. But I accepted the calling. I didn't understand what calling I was accepting. It was an unknown number. Unknown number. It was an unknown number. But I answered it anyway because I wanted to see who was on the phone. I wanted to see what life had in store for me. I wanted to see how can I create something different when I've never been exposed to it. So I wanted to pick up this phone. When I picked up the phone, it was nobody there. There was nobody there. I kept saying hello, 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 hello. Then all of a sudden, I heard a deep breath. Hung up. I'm like, what? What was the point of the call? Then it goes deeper. I just get to thinking and pondering. I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. What just happened here? What just happened here? My phone rang. I picked up the phone. I answered it. But nobody was there. So accepting the call is not just understanding that someone is calling you. A lot of times as we're picking up the phone, there's nothing on the other side. There's nobody there. So how can we work with nothing that's there? Here's how. Here's what I did. I got uncomfortable. I started and I took imperfect action. Imperfect action is taking action. It's not good. It's not well. It's not experience. It's taking action that will help you, that helped me actually grow. So now when the call came, August of 2020, I accepted the call. Did I know what I was accepting? Absolutely not, because I didn't even know who was on the phone. But when I accepted the calling, I knew I was destined for greatness. Greatness is something that comes from within. When it comes from within, you're able to grow. When you're able to grow, you're able to walk in your purpose each and every day. But what's so scary is that I didn't know what was on the other side. I didn't understand the other side of the outcome because it was unspoken of. It was unheard. I didn't understand it. I didn't know how to go about getting it. I didn't know how to walk in it. See, accepting the calling is more than just picking up the phone. It's accepting my purpose. It's accepting my reasoning. It's accepting my why I'm doing things. So now I start to think. I start to ponder. I start to wonder. What does this mean? Is this a sign? Am I supposed to be doing something like this? Am I not supposed to be doing something like this? The only way we are able to identify the answer that we are looking for is that we have to walk along the path. We have to walk along the path and figure it out as we're going on. I started back in 2020, August of 2020. But as I'm walking along the journey, day by day, week by week, month by month, I'm able to learn so much about myself, about who I'm becoming, about my purpose, about my mission, about my divine desire. I'm starting to learn these small, intricate details that will help me prevail in life. But this all started for me accepting the call. A lot of times, God is calling us to do things that He knows what's in our heart. That He knows that we are supposed to be doing this, but we don't answer the phone because we're so scared. We're so frightened. We're so worried about the outcome that's not even in front of us yet. The outcome that's not in front of us yet, you are creating that. I had to understand I am creating the life that I want. So what do I need to do each and every day? I need to take consistent, imperfect action, because we taking consistent, imperfect action will help me gain the experience, the education, and know how to go to people to ask for help because I'm taking imperfect action. What is the difference between perfect action and imperfect action? A lot of times, perfection comes over time. If he just starting off in the job, what's the difference between a 1 year employee and a 20-year employee? The experience. That 20-year person that's been working here for 20 years, he understand the game, he understand the life, he understand the experience, he understand the growth. He understand his job that he can do it with his eyes closed. But it took him 20 years to develop this experience because he accepted his calling 20 years ago. Is it his calling? Maybe. Does he love it? Maybe. Does he or she love it? Maybe. But we can only, insinuate that he does since he's been there for 20 years. 20 years is a long time. You gotta love it. You have to love it if you're doing it for that long. But see, here's the thing that we as people do, and we don't understand why we're doing it. We prolong the process of starting because we don't want to mess up. Because we want to be perfect as soon as we start. We're overthinking because we're thinking about the worst case scenario rather than just growing 1% better each and every day. So we are our own critics. We have limitations amongst ourselves that stops us, that hinder us, that really prevent us from growing in a new level of life, a new version of life, and a new purpose, because it's redefined. And this all began when you accept the calling. The calling is scary. Your why is scary. The reason is scary. Your path is difficult. It's bumpy. Your journey is unknown. It is a picture when they got two roads going. On this side, you got a lot of people. On this side, you have one person, isolated by him or herself. But everybody over here is so norm to the normality that they don't understand what's happening. It's kind of like what is it called? It's kind of like they're content and complacent with where they are. Nothing wrong with it at all. But as you are over here deviating from the crowd, you start to learn something more for yourself that's over here. So being isolated creates something for yourself, right? It shows you that you have pain. It shows you that you're trying to grow. It shows that you're trying to do something better. It demonstrates the importance of belief. It demonstrates the importance of confidence. It demonstrates the importance of being persistent. But we can't get this information if we over here just going with the flow. Just going with the flow. Just going with the flow. See, here's the thing. Here's what God does for us. He embedded our purpose in our mind, which means that we're constantly thinking about it. We're constantly thinking about it. We're constantly dreaming about it, talking about it, walking about it, subconsciously thinking about it. But what does this mean? A lot of times as we're getting these thoughts in our heads, we just put them to the side because it doesn't matter. But guess what's happening? The side is coming back to our mind because we can't stop thinking about this. We can't stop living it. We can't stop talking about it. We can't stop learning about it. We can't stop watching it. But we are our biggest critics, which means that we never start because we're so worried about the outcome. We're so worried about who's on this other phone that just called me. Accepting the calling, we never had an answer unless you understand what the calling is. The calling is you walking in your truth. Not just your truth, your purpose. Not just your purpose, your reason of why. What brings you joy? What brings you fulfillment? What brings you understanding? What brings you growth? This is what the calling is. God is showing us that your calling is what you created as, but it's the path that He is building for us to accept. We cannot accept it because it's scary. We cannot accept it because we don't know who just called us. We cannot accept it because we don't know the other person, who the other person is on the phone. Here's how you overcome this. Here's how you not overthink the calling that you were meant to be doing. Accept it. Accept it. I know it's pretty vague. How can you accept something that you don't understand? Because every time you close your eyes, you see it. Every time you open your eyes, you hear it. Every time there's a new day, you feel it. This is how you know what your calling is. So until you're ready to pick up the phone is going to keep ringing, keep going, keep going. It might go to voicemail, then it might call you again. Once it call you again, it might build up to that again. It's gonna keep calling. It's gonna keep showing up. It's gonna keep ringing your bell until you accept the calling. Don't mitigate the calling. Walk in the calling, because now you're walking in your purpose.